Here now to respond is Republican Congressman Adrian Smith from Nebraska. He's a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Of course, they write up the tax bills. Congressman, I know there are disagreements. A lot of Republicans from New York and high-tax states don't want to see the end of the deduction of state and local taxes on federal tax rates. But would that be a deal breaker? Would disagreements among Republicans on what goes into the tax bill prevent tax cuts from happening before the end of the year?
Well, there's that potential. That's why we need to focus on moving this ball down the field. And I feel really good about this. The House will be in session next week. We will continue to engage colleagues from all across America, both sides of the aisle. It's important to get our economy growing again, and tax reform, simplifying our tax code with long-term policy is the best way to grow our economy. We need to do that.
Well, we agree on that. We agree on that here, at least in this studio. But it would be a disaster, would it not, if disagreements over little things in the tax bill would prevent the big things, like a big cut in the corporate tax rate that everybody, even Democrats, believe we need that. Exactly. That would be a disaster if it doesn't happen before the end of the year.
Right. This is really a once-in-a-generation opportunity to really, truly reform our tax code, really look down the road in terms of what kind of growth it can provide. Let's not miss this opportunity.
There's also this, what I think is an absurd attempt to balance tax cuts with pay-fors. Make sure it is, quote, paid for, something that I think is ridiculous because it's our money. We've already paid for it. We don't need to pay for it again. Would that interfere with tax cuts? That is, would some Republican senators or congressmen say, unless it's paid for, we're not going to do it?
Well, there are a variety of opinions, even on one side of the aisle. But in order to get long-term policy, it needs to fit within the budget reconciliation process.
Well, but hold on a second, because Senator Mnuchin begs to differ on whether or not you have to have the Congressional Budget Office get in the mix and score the thing. Here's what he told Fox News Sunday a couple of weeks ago. Take a listen if you can.
Okay.
We believe in dynamic scoring, and under our growth models at the Treasury, this will pay for itself. And again, we may not get full credit for that. There may be short-term impacts on the deficit, but we want to be very careful in paying for this with growth.
So he's saying essentially, damn the CBO, let them come out with their static analysis. We're going to go ahead with the cuts regardless of what they say, to which you say what?
Well, dynamic scoring, I think, is important because it's based on reality. And the reality is, with reforming our tax code, reducing the tax burden, we can actually grow our economy. And when we have a growing economy, we have more people with the ability to pay taxes, hence the revenue that follows.
So, Congressman, if the CBO comes out and says these tax cuts will cost a huge deficit, you will say, we don't care, we believe in the end they'll pay for themselves, and I'll vote for them anyway, despite what the CBO says.
Well, I'm anxious to see a plan in terms of how this can grow, or numbers, I should say, of how this can actually help grow the economy. We know that the framework provides for that. We need to work out the details.
But do you have any doubt that a tax cut would grow the economy?
I have no doubt that the tax cut can grow the economy, and it's not just a tax cut, it's reducing that complexity, reducing the cost of compliance, and keeping that money in the economy is far more efficient.
You know what I keep with me all the time is the little postcard. I love it's Steve Forbes' idea of putting your tax form on a postcard. It would be great to have simplification, but again, if the tax cuts themselves are held up by parts of the simplification plan, that would be a shame, would it not?
It would be a shame, and that's why we are working through these details. They are important. We need to have everyone on board because we know how important it is to get this done, because it is such a rare opportunity.
Good luck to you, Congressman. It's going to be a heavy haul. We appreciate you coming on. Congressman Smith, thank you.